Hi everyone, this is Bentley out in Kent, Washington, and I'm going to go over a few updates. First, we're going to start in the 90 gallon where we've got all the fry and one new guy that we'll talk a little bit about in a second. You saw him floating by there. So I did some major, I guess you'd say like rescape work here. Um, you remember we had water sprite in the back, which it's actually floating in the tank right now because I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. And then the crypts were kind of mixed in the middle in the foreground. I've pulled them all forward, including the cryptospiralis. And we have these two just massive swords. On the left is a Franz Stoffel sword, and then the one that we're kind of focusing on center here, the right hand sword, is a St. Elmo's fire sword. Both of those are a little tough to get a hold of. They were grown immersed, so I've got to work on slowly converting them. That's going to take some time. And then you can see that that massive piece of cholla wood that's got little Java fruit window in it is still in here, kind of seasoning, getting prepped for another project down the road. And then you can see our new boy, and then some of the guppies and rainbows here zipping around. Um, I just kind of wanted to zip in and show kind of an update on. You can see basically all the guppies are to adult size, and the rainbows are growing pretty steadily. And you can see we're kind of following like the best looking male. Um, they all look really good, but he just has like the prototypical colors that we're shooting for, and then a little goldfish going by, a little shabunkin that's new to the tank and just new to my house in general. Um, and we'll cover him in a sec. But one of the important parts, and it's hard to see, I couldn't catch it really on camera, is that until we zoom in like this, you can start seeing the rainbows coloration is coming in. So all the Boesemani fry, you'll see this faint kind of yellow tone. You'll see like a white stripe on the top fins, a little bit of yellow toward the back, and you might see a little bit of blue iridescence or silver, depending. Those are typically early signs of male versus female, blue versus silver. The males get the blue in their body, the females get the silver. The yellow coloration is most likely to come in first on males, and then over time it slowly darkens to the orange and in the deeper orange tones. It starts, their juvenile colors start that yellow. But ever since I put these two swords in and kind of did the rescape, the rainbows have really been loving this area. They've been swimming in and out of the big swords and liking it quite a bit. And as you can, as you probably saw earlier, there's a couple of big child plants actually coming off of the Franz Stoffel sword. And if I can get those to convert, then I'll actually have from one sword gotten like seven, which is pretty neat. And we'll go over here. You can see the water sprite still floating. Um, but way back there, there's our little Shabunkin goldfish. This is Cycles, by the way. Um, and no, his name is not meaning that he's going to cycle tanks for me. His job was literally to eat duckweed out of a few of my tanks. And he started up in my little project tank kits in my bedroom. That I don't think I've actually shown yet, just because it's more a personal tank, not really a true project. And now he's finally moved into here and he's been eating a bunch. And he's such an active little fish. He's so happy and he kind of has like a kohaku koi look, and that's why I picked him. But as I sit here for a sec, there's actually some Moscow guppy fry in the tank. It's just impossible for my camera to pick it up. But the other like major update, my Aponogetonum Crispus, and I know I just said that wrong, is flowering, and I wanted to just show the flower. I've only had it for like 3 months. So I'm really happy at how fast this has happened. And it's just gorgeous little thing, and it just keeps growing. And then we'll go over to the 150. Recently, where some of these plants came from, the Greater Seattle Aquarium Society had a major auction for plants, and I picked up a few things. I sold a bunch of stuff while I was there too. Um, but this here by our mono shrimp is a Nymphaea micrantha, which is also known as the tricolor lily. It's a pretty rare lily, and this is just a little bitty baby plant. It gets as big as a red tiger lotus. It can get like 18 inches or so. So just I'll show updates as we grow this thing out. And I mean, you've seen my red tiger lotus kind of in back here. You can see some Rotala bonsai stems from a tissue culture, and then one of my very small Kleiner Prinz swords that had melted in another tank, and I'm trying to fix it and bring it back to life. Then of course you can see all the red tiger lotus that's here, and I kind of zoom around in the back. You can see just the couple of green leaves from Nymphaea minuta, which is another kind of rare lily that I got at the auction that was originally um, brought in by Crystal Kesselman, if you know who that is, to the Greater Seattle Aquarium Society. And then back in the back here, you can see this big, like, red pearl sword, which doesn't have to convert quite as much, which does have to do a few things in the tank. And once that grows out, it's going to look kind of cool because it'll have this wall of Tiger Lotus in front of it, and it'll be kind of shooting out of the back and, get lots of room to grow up. I'm trying to show a little bit more of that Nymphaea minuta. You can see this kind of like pleated pattern in the leaves. It's very, very pretty up close. And I'm kind of looking forward to that thing growing out too. And finally, you can actually see up here, there's 3 more child plants from the Franz Stoffel sword that had broken in transit, and I'm just trying to get them converted. And this massive Anubias that I picked up just because it was a deal. Finally, I just wanted to show like one of the smallest fish that's in my 150 with all the rainbows, which are the Gold Ring Danios. That's one of the Australian rainbows, like photo bombs there, but you can see him zipping around in the pogo stemum back there, which is pretty freshly trimmed from the auction. They're just such a cool little fish. They have this really awesome kind of leopard's body pattern. They're like a basically smaller version of the leopard danio. Very active, but can be shy if you don't have them in really big numbers for whatever your tank size is. They're not quite as boisterous as like the Kayafits or cherry barbs or something like that, but they're gorgeous. They have this really beautiful pattern, and I just wanted to try and get a shot of them while I had a chance. Anyway, those are all my updates. We'll be doing some other big stuff here relatively soon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving.